la 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 la. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. La 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 la. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Keep me on your toes, Joanne. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Here we go. La 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 la. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. The nigun is a powerful tool when we use it to just simply focus our energy, focus our attention, and to feel connected. Even when some of us might know certain words, certain melodies, the nigun can overcome all of those obstacles in creating community. And just for a moment, we can all sing together. So this is a song with a few more words. But hopefully you'll catch on, and you're welcome to just sing along la 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 to this as well. We sing Kol ha'olam, kulo gesher tsar me'od. The entire world and all of our experiences here, they are like a narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. The ha'ikar, the text says, but the most important thing, the central lesson of life, lo lefached klal, is not to be afraid. Try to be on that path, put one foot in front of the other, recognize the danger, and move forward anyway. Haolam kulo gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar me'od. Kol haolam kulo gesher tsar me'od, gesher tsar. A very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. The whole wide world is a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. But the main thing to recall is to have no no fear at all. What the main thing to recall is to have no fear at all. La, 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 ya, la, 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 ya, la, 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 ya, la, 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 ya, la, 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 ya, la, 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 If the world is that narrow bridge, we also are aware of these more special, more sacred moments on that journey when we are invited into a space of shelter rather than exposed to the elements, the feeling of being on that journey out in the open, lost sometimes, afraid sometimes. But there are safe havens for us, and that is Shabbat in our tradition. It is, according to Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, it is as if eternity were to utter a day. That is, all of the blessings of the world, all of the blessings that we know are waiting for us in Olam Haba, in that perfected place that we are working so hard to move towards. All of those are ours on Shabbat for just a day. Has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat arrives in the world, scattering its song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day. Silence of the night, and eternity utters a day. Eternity utters a day. Ya la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la, ya la la. The rabbis of old used to say, in response to the question, what do you do to prepare yourself for prayer? They would offer, I pray that my prayers might be accepted. There is, of course, a recognition that in order to enter Shabbat fully, we have to intentionally make that shift, to make that transition. I was thinking of an image. This was on the Today Show. Rabbi Sharon Brous was interviewed along with Bishop Michael Curry, who became some renown after the royal weddings. And when asked what we were supposed to be thinking about or working towards or picturing in this moment as Americans, Reverend Bishop Curry talked about the seal of the United States. He said he noticed that on the seal there is a bald eagle with two claws, and there are arrows in one claw and an olive branch in the other. And underneath that imagery of our desire for peace, it was written the words, E pluribus unum, which means out of the many, the one. And he suggested that this comes from an ancient text, but not ours, not the Jewish text, but it might as well have been. The quote is, "When each person learns to love the other as much as they love themselves, then out of the many, one is possible." E pluribus unum. Out of the many, one becomes possible when we learn to love each other as ourselves. Perhaps Seneca knew the Bible. Perhaps we just know wisdom when we find it. And what we are here tonight to do as we enter the Shabbat is to try to find unity, to try to find oneness out of our many disparate lives, out of all the emotions that we bring into this moment. Let us try to find unity through our prayers. Shabbat Shalom. One of the ways that we will do that, of course, is by celebrating together. And the Greenfields are here with us. I know that Abe is very excited for tomorrow as he becomes bar mitzvah. Mazal tov to you, Abe, and your family. So if the Greenfields are here, I'd like to invite all of you to join with us in lighting candles and our Kiddush. Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom, Rachel and Ben, Joel and Sam, and of course, Abe.
Shabbat Shalom. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
As these Shabbat
We may have lost the Greenfield for just a moment. After he was going to do Kiddush, I was going to present him with his gifts, so we'll just see if we can get them unfrozen for a moment. Shabbat Shalom, Greenfields, are you there? We lost you for a moment there. Are you with us? Wave if you can hear me. Okay. Sorry, we lost you, Abe, just as you were reading that beautiful reading. What I was going to share with you is that we have gifts for you. There's a gift that's coming to you. You'll get it tomorrow, of course, but it's from the whole congregation. It's a gift from the brotherhood and the sisterhood together. They want to know that this entire community is celebrating with you. And there's also a gift from your clergy team because we love you too. And we're so proud of the work you are doing. Let's join together in Kiddush. Do you have a Kiddush cup there? Are we going to join together with you? Wonderful. Shabbat Shalom to you. Let's join together in Kiddush.
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, b'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava l'rasa, yinkilanu, zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah, l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'avarta, v'tanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'ahava u'ratzon, hinchaltanu, baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
So Mazel Tov to the whole Greenfield family. I know tomorrow is going to be a wonderful day. So Mazel Tov to all of you. And Rabbi Brett, I have to say that you quoted one of my favorite phrases that is also a subject of a West Wing episode. So I don't know if any of you others are West Wing fans out there, but this idea, out of the many, we are one, is part of a West Wing. So check out that. So tonight I want to share with you a reading that I found in our prayer book, Mishkan Tefillah. So tonight we have arrived at the end of a very long and emotional week. Tonight, I don't know about you, but I am feeling especially grateful for this Shabbat. This is our opportunity to unwind and to experience the calming presence that Shabbat can bring. Also quoting Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, he reminds us that Shabbat, the Sabbath, can be a palace in time. Our chance to leave our worries behind and enter the sacred space of prayer, of connection, of community. To express my gratitude for Shabbat this week, I offer this reading. I begin my prayer with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no Hebrew, no English, no semantics, no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upwards in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love the world that God has created, and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love the dreams of peace and joy that illumine in all of us, and to bring God's vision of joy and peace to our world, to our lives. So as we continue to bring that vision to life, the vision of joy and peace, we now turn to Mizmor Shir, praising God for all that is good in the world, all that is good in our lives, and all that is good that surrounds us each and every day.
Mizmor Shir leyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Mizmor Shir leyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai. ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני.
Sorry. Shalom Aleichem, the song, was written in the 17th century. It states that two angels accompany everyone home from sanctuary as Shabbat begins. In this song, we hope that God's angel will enter our presence in peace. We hope that they will bless us with peace, and they will depart our presence with peace. So hopefully this Shabbat, we will feel uplifted by each other's presence. We will feel blessed by our time together tonight, and we will keep this feeling as we depart from each other's company tonight until we enter next Shabbat and can be uplifted through one another again. So we continue now with the singing of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. Among the many things that I do for my children on a regular basis, a few months ago I started making little videos of just me talking to them when they are grown, because I know just how valuable these videos will one day become. I share my thoughts, I tell them things about themselves at this age, and I found myself today making a brief video for them while washing dishes, telling them about 2020 and about what this moment in history feels like. I decided to tell them what I miss most, and I listed multiple things. I miss being able to hug my parents. I miss being able to get on a plane and go on a vacation. I miss beaches. But in that list was each and every one of you. That I miss being able to stand on a bima with my friends and colleagues right by my side, with a warm community waiting to be uplifted in song. The very humbling fact that my voice is the voice that they want uplifting them. I miss that. And more than anything, I miss that what I give is given right back. And so in this moment, as we pause for the Shema, I thought when choosing a melody, we all needed a little bit of comfort food. And that is musically where we meet the music of Debbie Friedman. That's exactly where she is. Debbie Friedman is musical comfort food. And so I asked Rabbi Brett if he would be willing to lead us on the guitar in Debbie Friedman's Shema and Ve'ahavta. May we all be together in the near future.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. You shall bind them for a sign upon your hand. They shall be a symbol between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorpost of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates. You shall teach them diligently unto your children. You shall speak of them when you're sitting in your house, when you're walking by the hallway, and when you're lying down, and when you're rising up, and when you're rising up. You may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
So part of the bedtime ritual in my house when I'm trying to get my kids to sleep is that I sing them a few songs. I know many parents for many generations have been doing just that. So perhaps you remember your parents doing that for you, and perhaps you remember doing this for the little ones in your lives. Some families sing the Shema and Ve'ahavta. Some families sing show tunes. Others just sing whatever the family favorites are. So whatever this is for you, this tradition can help children transition from the chaos of the day to hopefully a calm and restful sleep. One of the traditions in our house at bedtime is for us to hug our children and then whisper in their ears, "Bad dreams go away, bad dreams go away." Not only are we hoping that this will help our kids sleep without nightmares, but we are also offering them a sense of security and protection. We are letting them know that we love them and we will be with them if they need us during the night. To me, that is exactly what the Hashkivenu prayer is doing for us. It is asking for God's presence throughout the long, dark night. It is helping us to feel safe, protected, and loved. Tonight, as we hear the Hashkivenu, hopefully can help us connect with a sense of peace, a peace that can come from a good night's rest. The sleep of being protected in a loving embrace, and being held collectively until we all reach the morning's light. Let us continue now with the Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Vehamidenu shomreinu us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, לדורותם ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת, שבת וינפש. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת. וביום השביעי שבת, שבת וינפש. It's at this time in our service when we turn our thoughts to those in our lives and in our community in need of healing, whether it is physical, emotional, or spiritual healing. We invite you to go ahead and type the name into the chat of someone for whom you are praying. As a community, we pray for Lonnie McCown, Jacob Edelhart, James Farrell, Jerry Bennett, Jill, Julie Walters, and Nancy Bonham. We add to their names Harvey Katz, Deb Mills, Jill Ross, Chris Carlock, Jeremy and Kristen Sachs, Jillian Scott, Naomi Kaufman, Jerry Bennett, Sonia Hess, Lainey Shipper, Laura Intven, Javi Lev Goldstein, and Annabeth Spalding, Tracy Zeitlow, Scott Grant, Mike Army, Megan McLaughlin, Addie and family, Wendy Barish, Jim Zhang, Joanna Sloan, and Martin Lee Goslin, Rabbi Ina, Jerry Langer, Jack Steneker, Mike, Zach, Alicia Berman, Harris Jones, and all of us around the country, around the world, experiencing a fair share of exhaustion and perhaps a little bit of burnout. We join together in a prayer asking God to heal us now. Refainu Adonai v'nerafeh, Hoshienu v'nivashea, El karov lechol korav, ach karov lireav isha. We pray for the healing of the body. We pray for the healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again be whole. El Narefana. Oh, please heal us now. Refuat ha-nefesh, refuat ha-guf, refuat shalema. Heal us now. Heal us now. Heal us now.
Thank you so much, Cantor Mare, for your beautiful, beautiful voice and your music this evening. It's always a pleasure to make music with you. To Rabbi Cherna Reader, thank you so much for the music of your words. We do need this time together. Been contemplating this week the story of creation, where we read, "And God saw all that God had made, and behold, it was very good." This fundamental concept is strengthened and built upon, interpreted and expanded through centuries, becomes a great fundamental truth about Jewish belief. We insist that the world is a good place, and that our nature as human beings, all of us, is to strive for what is good. Then how can it be, we ask, that the Torah is comfortable with this idea? How do we say that every part of creation is good? This world is a place of uncertainty, a place of fear, deceit, betrayal, just as surely as it is a place of cooperation, dignity, kindness. Isn't it at best naive and at worst dangerous, we argue, to suggest that all we have to do is believe in people and the best of our natures will win out? It may not surprise you that our ancestors, the great interpreters of Torah, asked the same question. Their answer is easily one of the most important lessons of Torah. First, they postulate that there are not one, but rather two great forces driving the world and human affairs. We know, they begin, that while the Torah suggests that all of creation is good, that there exists another force driving us away from what is good and towards what is evil. Like two little voices perched on either shoulder, even if it's perfectly clear with which path before us is righteousness and which is destructive, we will always be under the influence of not one but two voices in our heads and hearts, one which draws us towards holiness and one that leads us away. And the rabbis continue, could it be true that the Yetzer Hara, our impulse towards evil, was also created by God and therefore also good? It is a tricky linguistic maneuver, but a profound theological dilemma too. Is God all-powerful, responsible not only for the goodness in the world, but for the world in its entirety, including truly evil acts and events? And they answer their own question with a resounding yes. Yes, God made the world in all of its complexity. Yes, there is evil in the world, and it is there by design. Yes, true appreciation for the world's beauty and our own beautiful design as human beings made in the image of God necessarily includes an appreciation for the goodness of Yetzer Hara, our own worst impulses. So here's a few things that these rabbis are not saying. They are not saying that we should excuse animosity, prejudice, or dishonesty. They do not mean to suggest that bad things happen for good reasons. They only tell us what we actually already know, that we feel in our bones. Animosity, narcissism, dishonesty, bigotry, violence. These things are, in fact, built into the system. They are part of God's creation. And, they argue, those things are motivated by a force which can be harnessed for good. Here's the quote from Midrash. Yes, they say, Yetzer Hara is part of the system, and that system is entirely good, and all of it is worthy of blessing. Were it not for that impulse, the rabbis say, a person would not build a house, or get married and have children, or start any business. So I remember first learning that text and feeling completely stopped in my tracks. Our greatest achievements in life, our life partners, our children, our professional accomplishments, somehow they are all connected towards our inclination to evil. How could these things be related in any way? But here's what I've learned. We have a choice, you and I, and it's a choice that we make every single day. And that choice is to look around at the world as it exists right now, not tomorrow, not January 20th, and not when I have time next summer I'll get around to it, but right now. And when we see the state of things, the choice we have to make is to say, yeah, that's pretty good the way that it is, or to say, you know what, if that is ever going to change, I am going to be the one to change it. That sense of purpose, of mission and drive, it stems from some frustration that we have to feel first. Something about this day, something about this moment in our lives, in the life of my country, in my city, in my synagogue, it just doesn't feel right yet. And when that feeling is strong enough, that negativity, that dissatisfaction will lead us to action. It will lead us to personal responsibility, to motivation, and to change. We were never supposed to simply accept the fact that negativity and challenge and danger exist in the world. Those forces are there because our free will, choice to do something about them, that is ours to make. No one said it would be easy to repair the world. In fact, it's just the opposite. I believe that aside from all of the cult of personality issues swirling around this election cycle, the real issues have been about honest differences that the people in our country and even in our own congregation feel about the best way for us to move forward as a society. How best to support women's health choices. How best to reform our broken immigration system. How best to ensure that businesses can survive during the pandemic while keeping our responsibility to save even a single life foremost in our list of concerns. And those feelings on either side, they come from thoughtful and committed reflection most of the time. So this has been a terribly difficult election cycle for many of us on all sides. It continues to be so. But I reject the notion that the next administration will have some deeply divided nation to sew back together. Wounds, of course, take time to heal. There are many wounded on this battlefield. I pray that no more will join them. But nursing our country back to health, it will not mean resolving the many issues upon which we authentically disagree, but rather it will mean remembering how to honor those disagreements as profoundly valuable. It will mean embracing a new electorate that is more invested and more engaged than our country has been in a generation. It will mean learning to respect one another enough to cherish the diversity of experience and perspective as we share the work which lies ahead. You know, it's not true that when a Jewish child turns 13 or 12 and a half that they automatically transform into an adult. Sorry about that, Abe. Most often, all of our students have a difficult time answering if I ask them to point to a specific age when we reach adulthood. Even yesterday, a student said to me, I don't know, I know some pretty old people who are pretty immature. I did not ask who she might be referring to. But every student and every one of their parents, they have no trouble describing to me what adulthood is supposed to look like. Life's problems do not ease with adulthood, they get more complex. We learn to live with complexity. Frustrations can grow and we learn to live with frustration. Our idealism fades, but we have also practiced decency and respect. We have learned the wisdom behind the rabbinic text, who is wise, one who learns from all people, because we know there is no wisdom in self-aggrandizement. Who is strong, one who controls their own impulses, for we will never be rid of that Yetzer Hara. And thank goodness, because there is so much work to do. And who is happy, the text concludes, one who learns to be content with the way that things are, who accepts reality even as they work to improve it. I believe our democratic institutions are functioning well during a significant test of their durability and design. All who are frustrated and angry will be motivated to stay involved, and that is good for the system. The challenges that face our country looking forward in the future, they're significant and they're complex, and it will take all of our perspectives and all of our compassion for one another to solve them. When the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was asked about her unlikely friendship with Justice Antonin Scalia, to whom she was diametrically opposed on the bench, she said, quote, "How blessed I was to have a working colleague and dear friend of such captivating brilliance, high spirits, and quick wit." In one story that she recounted at his memorial, she said that she knew their differences of opinion were good for the country. She said, "My final drafts were much improved thanks to Justice Scalia's searing criticism." And Scalia once said about the notorious RBG, he said, "I attack ideas, I don't attack people." And then with a wink, he said, "Some very good people have some very bad ideas." It is often difficult to see value in those who think and feel so differently. But just think of the conversations that we can have, that we need to have. We used to talk about important issues, and we will again. This culture of monologue and of sound bites, it has taken over what was a long tradition of civil discourse, and it is time for us to recommit to a different and better course now. We did not realize until it was taken away just how much we cherished those conversations. So let's lean in to our frustration. In one of the more curious prayers in our prayer book, Mishkan Tefillah, we read, "Disturb us, Adonai. Make us dissatisfied. Deny to us a false Shabbat, which gives us delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us. Make us know that the border of our sanctuary is not the border of living, that the walls of your temples are not shelters from the wind of truth and of justice, of reality. Disturb us, O God, vex us, and let your Shabbat be a time to be stirred and spurned to action." Tonight, I pray that we remember that this is actually God's will for us. Shabbat Shalom. Pleasure to welcome, as always, a wonderful member, congregant, part of our leadership for many years now, Sarah Freeman. Shabbat Shalom, Sarah.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Brett. Yeah, many years, right? With the age thing, I always say that I'm not young, I'm just short and immature. But it fools a lot of people, so I'll keep doing it. Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and what a week, right? As always, I'm incredibly grateful to our amazing clergy for leading us in our virtual Shabbat services, just as they have tonight. And it's so affirming just to see all of your faces and names, you know, as I scroll through the screens on my iPad here. So even though it seems like this pandemic is never going to end, it will, but it just seems like it won't. There's still a lot happening at IHC. And you know, you can always find out what's going on by checking our website at ihcnd.org or by following us on Facebook, which might be where some of you are watching our streaming services tonight. So there are a few things that I'm pretty excited about. One is that the Sisterhood gift shop is open again for in-person and socially distanced shopping. That's going to be on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 to 2 and on some select Sundays. But of course, if you're like me and you've gotten really spoiled by the curbside pickup at Target, you can receive that same level of concierge service at the gift shop. So details on how to do that are in the weekly email, which is also the same place you can find out about reading the book Evicted with the Berit Olam Committee. The subject matters, so, you know, poverty, housing, and economic exploitation in our country are going to be challenging to work through, but I'm still looking forward to the discussions that I know we'll have. So like I said, these are just a couple of things that are going on. And I know there's something out there for you to find at IHC. It might be something familiar that you're really comfortable with, or it might be something new that you've never tried before. So just check the website and read those emails for all of the opportunities that are coming your way. And Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom. We appreciate that the sisterhood is interested in opening back up, and we've really, you know, been working hard to try to figure out how to have moments together as a community. And so, yes, I'm sure it'll help the bottom line a little bit, but really, it's so much more about just needing to see each other. And we're going to make sure that even if we have to be distanced and we'll only be in the actual gift shop a little bit at a time, just please stop by. Make an appointment, buy a little something. We would just love to see you, even with your masks on. We're going to pause now in our service to remember the work that is ahead, that in so many ways has been inspired by those upon whose shoulders we stand. I have always been inspired by this reading by Judy Chicago. My parents actually first introduced to me when I became bar mitzvah. We wrote our own service, sort of that kind of family, and And this was a highlight for me. I remember this even then. Judy Chicago writes, "And then all that has divided us will merge. And then compassion will be wedded to power. And then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind. And then both men and women will be strong. And then both women and men will be gentle. And then no person will be subject to another's will. And then all will be rich and free and varied. And then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many. And then all will share equally in the earth's abundance. And then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old. And then all will nourish the young. And then all will cherish life's creatures. And then all will live in harmony with each other on the earth. And then everywhere will be called Eden once again." On this Shabbat, we are remembering those who were taken from our congregational families in the past month, whose families are still in the period of Shloshim, the 30 days following the funeral. And we were remembering Diane Goldberg, Arnie Goldberg's wife, Janet Yosha, the mother of Cynthia Yosha Snyder, Frida Sanders, George Sanders' mother, and Steve Dill, Susan Dill's son, father of Hannah Dill. We add to their names those whose yahrzeits occur this week. On this particular Shabbat, we remember Lois Ackerman, Esther Bernkopf, Beatrice Baker, Thelma Barchek, Renee Bass, James Beam, Bonnie Beiser, Edith Buchholz, Leon Calderon, Clara Kamhai, Barbara Cohen, Leon Cohen, Charles Cohen, Mary Cook, Mildred Dansker, Bernard D., Arthur Fairbanks, Beatrice Fink, Julie Flincham, Sam Friedman, Aaron Gitsis, Corinne Glazer, Betty Glazer, Morton Green, Beatrice Greenfield, Janet Hertenstein, Harry Herzog, Jack Cammons, Leon Kay, Isidore Lehner, Manuel Levin, Helen Meyer, Harold Minkus, Annette Myroff, Esther Mitchell, William Pearl, Max Robbins, Louis Romer, Mark Rubin, Samuel Rubner, Lee Sachs, Edolph Samuel, Molly Schiffer, Dorothy Schiller, Claire Schloss, Jerome Shapiro, Louis Schoenfield, Sarah Sider, David Slabowski, Herman Slutsky, Mark Speyer, Solomon Speyer, Hannah Sternfield, Miriam Tannenbaum, Mark Walter, and Ray Wishney. Also invite you to take a moment in our chat to add the names of loved ones so that we might read them aloud once you are remembering on this Shabbat. We also remember Jim Davis, Maurice Finkel, who should be on our list for Shiva, actually. Thank you, Jerry, for remembering. Add Maurice. Father Clement B. Fenton, Rose Wattenberg, Dolores Ehrman, Max Minsky, Joanne Sanders. Zichronom Livracha, may all of their memories be for blessing. We join together in the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah. Bi'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'yizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal Shmei Dekudsha Barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran b'yalma v'yimru amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. We say together, Amen, for this blessing, for peace for our people, the Jewish people, and of course, we include a prayer for peace for all people with the words, Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, and invite one another again to say, Amen. Amen.
Before we say goodnight, we do want to invite you, if you have challah, to say a motzi with us. Of course, this is our moment where we bless those around us, our children, our grandchildren. I am convinced that this blessing can travel through a computer, so don't hesitate. Nothing makes me happier than seeing kids waving at grandparents on these services. It's very beautiful. So we will. Yes, I know. We have a challah here, baked fresh by Whole Foods. So please join us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Sophia, Benjamin, Shabbat Shalom to you. I assume that James is there as well, baking challah furiously in the background. Shabbat Shalom to all of you. It's wonderful to see not only the challahs, by the way, but there are wonderful shots of all of your pets, where you're sitting, and get a little glimpse into your home. Thank you for sharing a little slice of your life. In just a moment, we are going to give one another a chance to just say Shabbat Shalom. But before that, let us conclude with a prayer for peace. May God, who gives us the understanding of what peace is by making it on high, may that same God bring peace down for us, that we might experience wholeness, completeness, and peace in this world as well. Hope that you'll join with me. Oh, say Shalom b'romav, u'yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen. Let's try that together. Oh, say Shalom b'romav, u'yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen. La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 yo say Shalom b'romav, u'yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen. May it be a Shabbat of peace. May we go into this week and recognize that what we need to do is roll up our sleeves and work for peace. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for being here with us, and I hope that you'll stick around. We'll unmute everyone for a few moments and say Shabbat Shalom. Mazel tov to the Greenfield family, especially. Abe,
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Where are
Hey,
they?
everyone.
Hi, Joyce. Hi, Joyce.
Had a good day.
Yes, again.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom. Great job,
Hi,
Amy.
Marsha.
You sounded fantastic.
Mazel tov to the
Thanks, Rabbi.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey.
Shabbat shalom from New Jersey.
Hey, yay.
Hi, Karen.
Shabbat shalom.
Hi, Kenny. Hi, Kevin.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbos.
What? I'm trying to catch you, but you're too far away.
You're blowing
Where
kisses.
are you?
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
It's
shalom,
so wonderful.
everyone.
Love you.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you very much.
Yeah, let's just
Shabbat shalom.
Good
Shabbat
weekend.
shalom.
Good night, everyone. Shabbat shalom.
Night, Shabbat
Right.
shalom.